In this 2D rhinoceros tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draw this 2D widget that looks like a linkage piece utilizing the circle tool, tangent line, and dimensions on a different layer. I'm going to start off by going New, Small Objects, Inches. This object is rather small and it's designed in inches. Double click on the top viewport. We're going to be drawing with our default black layer. We're going to start off with a circle. The center of our circle is going to be at the origin, 0, 0. You can also just type in 0. It's going to have a diameter of 0.880. Enter. We need to draw a line from the center at 0 over to the right, 1.250, comma 0. Enter. Another circle at the end of this line segment with a diameter of 0.250. Enter. Offset. Just going to type that command in. Click on our small circle. We're going to offset it a distance of 0.150. Enter. Left click to put the offset on the outside of the circle, and we're going to repeat that by pressing spacebar or the right click on the mouse button and offset this circle a dimension of 0.125. Enter. Whoops, let me try that again. I didn't click and establish which side I wanted it on. There we go. Now we're going to use the tangent line tool located underneath the polyline tool. Right here it says line tangent from curve. That's going to allow us to snap tangent to the big circle and tangent to the small circle and have a nice smooth tangent transition from circle to circle. Right click to repeat. Same thing for the bottom. We can now take this line right here and hide it, and we need to trim. I'm going to select my objects, trim, and then click on these two line segments. These line segments need to be joined by selecting everything and joining. And now it's time to dimension this part. I'm going to switch to the red layer, and I'm going to go into the options. Up on the top, it's a yellow gear, and then scroll up under document properties, annotation styles, switch to inch decimal, edit, and we need to change the model space scale from 10 to 1. This will allow our text height to be smaller and more relatable in size to our part. Click apply and OK. And now that we're on the red layer, everything that we draw will be red. The dimension tool is up here. I'm going to left click and hold. Drag that gray bar down to kind of center this in our Rhino window because we're going to access some of these tools. I'm going to start off with diameter dimensions with this diameter dimension tool and dimension the diameter of the small circles and the large circle. Notice these are at an angle, not perpendicular straight up and down. It's best dimensioning practices. I'm going to radius the outside since that's not a complete circle. We need a distance from center to center. That's done with the linear dimension. And then I notice I have my endpoint snap on, so that makes it easy to find the endpoint or the centers of the circles. And that's going to be 1.25. And we also need to dimension the thickness that we offset here and here. Done with the linear dimension tool. And I'm going to turn on my quadrant snap, and that will allow me to snap directly to the section that I want and then dimension it. All other dimensions would be derived. Example, the overall height is basically the same thing as the diameter of that. These are the critical dimensions that we need. There is one change that we need to do. Notice we only have 2 decimal places when we technically went out to 3 decimal places. We're going to go back up into our options and back into our inch decimal annotation dimensioning window. Under here we have different options for changing things, and we want to go under length units and change the linear resolution to 3 decimal places. Click apply, click OK, and we now see we have our 3 decimal places just like in the dimensions that I used to draw the part. A couple other things, I'm going to use this text tool. Draw the text at 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to go ahead and type in my name. And then this is going to be called Linkage Widget. I'm going to put today's date. Kind of a little modified title block. And then also, if this had any material specifications, let's say it was cut out of 6061 aluminum, and it's 0.0130 thickness. Thickness on this part will be determined later when you're actually cutting it out on the water jet, but for right now you can always just double click on this and then update this to something different. So with the dimensions being on a different layer than the object, we can simply turn off the visibility of our dimension layer. That makes it easier when we're going to take this and go File, Export Selected as a AutoCAD Drawing Exchange file .dxf. I'm going to put it in my folder. Which is Linkage Widget. The file name Linkage Widget DXF BJT. Save. Save as Cam Imperial. Click OK, and now that file can be exported into the WaterJet software. The only thing I wish I did was actually save this file at the very beginning. That is always best strategy for modeling, but I'm going to go ahead and save it right now. So always save your work at the beginning and as you work, but if you want to live life a little dangerously, you can always save at the very end. Thank you.